Hello, my dear young minds. How are you all? I hope you all are doing really very well. In our today's class, we are going to start our chapter number 11, and the name of this chapter is Planet in Peril: Environmental Challenges and Conservation Efforts. In this chapter, my dear student, we are going to see the challenges, okay, the challenges which are faced by our environment and what efforts, being a human being, we are making to save our environment. Okay, so in this chapter we are going to see it. Okay, now come with me and let's see the chapter. We must prioritize sustainable practices, conservation efforts, and ethical decision making to secure a better future for ourselves and future generations. See, if we want to give our future generation a nice and smooth life, then we must conserve our resources. We must practice conservational method. We must protect our environment. Then only our future generation are going to enjoy all these luxurious things. Individual and collective actions rooted in awareness and empathy are crucial to address this pressing global issues and ensure a harmonious coexistence between human and the natural world. Okay, act as an individual or act in a group, but as a human being we have to protect our environment, because environment is, if environment is safe, then we are safe. If environment is facing danger, it means what? There is a threat to humankind. Okay, see my dear student, we need to address the global rising issues. Now what is the meaning of global rising issues? Means global issues which is not faced by only one country but faced by all the countries of the world. It is called as global issue. Okay, so as an individual or as a group people, we have to tackle this global rising issues, and we have to make sure that we have to make sure that we are making efforts to protect our environment. Now come with me and let's see the chapter. Rising air population can cut life expectancy by more than 5 years per person in South Asia, one of the world's most populated region, according to a report published on August 29, which flagged the growing burden of hazardous air on health. Okay, my dear student. So here you can see the continuous rising air pollution. Okay, this continuous rising air pollution is cutting human life, especially the humans who used to live in South Asian region. Okay, this continuous growing air pollution is shortening our life for nearly about 5 years. Means we are going to die 5 years before. Okay, 5 years before our death, because due to air pollution. And why here South Asia is mentioned? Because most of the population of the country lives in South Asia. Okay, and in South Asia, two most populated country of the world came: India and China. India and China contains the largest population of the world. That's why here South Asia is mentioned. Okay, the region, which includes the world's most populated countries of Bangladesh, India, Nepal, and Pakistan, accounts for more than half of the total life years lost globally to population. The University of Chicago Energy Policy Institute, APEC, said in its latest Air Quality Life Index. Okay, so if we are talking about Air Quality Life Index, the regions or the countries which is present in South Asian region is Bangladesh, India, Nepal, and Pakistan. They are facing a life-threatening problem of air pollution. Okay, and this study is made by University of Chicago Energy Policy Institute. Okay, rapid industrialization and population growth have contributed to declining air quality in South Asia, where particulate pollution level are currently more than 50% higher than at the start of the century, and now overshadow dangers posed by larger health threats. Now, what is the reason behind this increasing air pollution? Rapid industrialization due to rapid increase of growth. Okay, if population is growing, it means what? Demand is growing. If demand is growing, then we have to supply more. Okay, so this rapid industrialization and population growth, these are the two major factors which is leading continuous rise in the air pollution. Okay, here my dear student, the particulate pollution level is so high, that if you are breathing, okay, so the air which we are breathing, it is also harmful in some way. Okay, and you know what, when 21st century started, okay, when 21st century started, this population, okay, this pollution level are half. But now only 25 years are passed of this century. Still, what? Continuously air population is rising. More than half of the population level, pollution level, sorry, more than half of the pollution level at the starting of this century. People in Bangladesh, the world's most polluted country, stands to lose 6.8 years of life on average per person compared to 3.6 months in the United States, according to the study, which uses satellite data to calculate the impact of an increase in airborne fine particles on life expectancy. So the people of Bangladesh, okay, means Bangladeshi nation, they, and why here Bangladesh is mentioned? Because Bangladesh is the most polluted country of the world. So the people who used to live in Bangladesh, they are going to lose, their life by 6.8 years. Okay. Okay. And if we compare this loss of life to the people who used to live in United States, if a us set if a US citizen is going to lose his 3.6 month of life, then on the other hand side, people who used to live in Bangladesh, they are going to lose 6.8 years of their life. Okay, so here you can see such a huge difference. Okay, and all this because of air pollution, continuous rising air pollution. Since 2003, the report said as hazardous air threatens to shorten lives further in some of the country's more populated regions. Okay, so according to the 2013 published report, this hazardous air pollution is continuously becoming the threatening thing for human who used to live in South Asian region. In a densely populated New Delhi, the world's most polluted mega city, the average lifespan is down by more than 10 years. Oh my God, such a drastic report. See, New Delhi, the capital of our country, India, it is considered as one of the most polluted megacity of the world. Okay, here the people who used to live in New Delhi, they are losing their almost 10 years of their life. If the American people are losing 3.6 years, 3.6 month of their life, on the other hand, Bangladesh people, they are losing the 6.88 years of their life. Okay, but the people who used to live in New Delhi, they are total losing their 10 years of life. So here you can see how many years we are losing of our life, and all this because air pollution. Reducing global levels of lung damaging airborne particles known as PM 2.5 to level recommended by the WHO World Health Organization could raise average life expectancy by 2.3 years or a combined 17.8 billion life years, the report said. So according to the report of WHO, if we are able to control the level of PM 2.5, okay, it is an average level. If these countries are able to manage their PM 2.5 level, PM means what? Level of lung damaging airborne particles. Okay, the level of airborne particles called as PM. So the average level which every country have to maintain is 2.5. Okay, this level is maintained by WHO. Okay, then if every country, is able to manage this PM 2.5 level, then they are going to increase their life by 2.3 years, or combinedly, okay, or combinedly the whole world is going to save their 17.8 billion lives every year. Okay, an average resident of Pakistan would gain 3.9 years from meeting the WHO guideline of limiting average annual PM 2.5 concentration to 5 micrograms per cubic meter, while someone in Nepal could live 4.6 years longer if the guidelines are met, according to the report. So according to the report of WHO, if every country is going to maintain this PM 2.5 level, then the countries like Pakistan, they can save their life by 3.9 years, and the people who used to live in Nepal, they are going to save their life for 4.6 years. Okay, China, meanwhile, had worked to reduce pollution by 42.3% between 2013 and 2021, the report said, highlighting the need for government to generate accessible air quality data to help bridge global inequalities in assessing tool to combat pollution. Now see, China. Okay, China maintained to control his pollution level by 42.3 percentage between 2013 to 2021. Okay, so all this information is given by, all this information are published in a news report by Reuters. Okay, now the report stressed the urgent need for the conservation of most critically threatened birds in India, which includes Jordan's courser, Great Indian Bustard, White-billed heron, Bengal florican, and Fin's weaver. See, air pollution is not harming only human beings. It not only shorten the life of human beings in India, but in India, air pollution is also becoming threatening thing for the birds who used to live in India. So the birds the birds who are tackling with this air pollution, facing the life threats from the air pollution are Jordan cursor, Great Indian Bustard, White-billed heron, Bengal florican, and Fin's weaver. So all these category of birds, okay, they are facing the threat from continuously rising air pollution. Habitat specialists, particularly birds of grassland and other open habitat, wetlands and woodlands, are declining rapidly. Among the most declining birds were the raptors, migratory shorebirds, and ducks. Okay, now habitat special birds who used to migrate from one season and go back when the season are ended, they are also declining day by day. Okay, specifically raptors, migratory shorebird, and ducks. You can see the fall in their population, and all because of pollution. In terms of diet, insectivorous and granivorous are declining more rapidly than omnivorous or fruit or nectar eaters. Okay, and if we are going to compare the carnivorous group of animals, the insectivorous group of organisms, and granivorous. Now, carnivorous means the animal who used to eat another animal. Insectivorous means organisms who eat insects. Granivorous means the organisms who used to eat grains or seeds like birds. Okay, see the population. Okay, if we are talking about the population of carnivorous, insectivorous and granivorous, they are constantly declining. Okay, they are constantly declining in comparison of omnivorous or fruit and nectar eaters. Omnivorous means humans. Okay, we eat both meat and plant based things. Okay, fruits and nectar eater means honeybees. Okay, so here you can see the population of carnivorous, insectivorous, and granivorous are constantly declining in comparison of omnivorous, fruit or nectar eaters. Okay, now separate migratory species appear to be under greater threat than non-migrants. My dear students, see, not only this group of animals but also migratory species, they are also facing a threat from this continuous rising of pollution. And special endemic to the Western Ghats, Sri Lanka region, and are faring worse than other. Our Western Ghat region mean our Gujarat, Maharashtra, Goa, Kerala, or Coromandel coast. Okay, so all this falls under the Western Ghat area. Okay, so the areas which fall under Western Ghat and Sri Lanka is an island country. Okay, so the areas which fall under these two categories, they are also facing the threat from air pollution. Certain groups of bird are farming Certain group of birds are faring particularly poorly, including open habitat species like bustard and coursers, riverine sandbar nesting birds like skimmers and some terns, coastal shore birds, open country raptors, and a number of ducks. So apart from this migratory species, this category of birds are also getting a threat due to continuous rising of air pollution. Now, the name of birds who are facing their life threat due to the continuous rising of pollution, they are bustard, riverine sandbar nesting birds, and under the riverine sandbar nesting bird like skimmers and some terns. Now, what is the meaning of sandbar nesting birds? See, these birds lay their egg under the sand. That's why they are known as riverine sandbar nesting birds. Okay, they all are facing their life threat from continuous rising of the pollution. Okay, the finding that a large number of common species are in trouble is a cause for concern. Equally worrying is that a considerable number of species lack the data to be assessed, the report concluded. So all these species, okay, all these species, maybe they are carnivorous, okay, maybe they are insectivorous, maybe they are granivorous, okay, they all are facing their life threat due to the continuous rising of pollution. Now, to mention the SOIB 2023 is a first of its kind collaborative effort of 13 government and non-government organizations, including the Bombay. Now see, A report was published by SOIB 2023. Actually, it is one of its first kind, okay, in which many government organizations came together for the preservation of those species. Now, they and now what? Now the name of those 13 groups who came, okay, who came to collaborate with them to protect those species are Bombay Natural History Society, okay, BNHS, Wildlife Institute of India, WII, and Geological Survey of India, JSI, Wildlife Trust of India, WTI, Worldwide Fund for Nature India, WWF India, among other, which evaluate the overall conservation status of the most regularly occurring bird species in India. So, my dear student, all these institutes, okay, they collaborate for the preservation of this migratory birds, okay. In report, a total of 942 species of Indian birds were assessed for conservation priority by the expert and bird watchers, among which 217 species were found to be stable or increasing in the last 8 years. Okay, so the report prepared by this collaborative institute, they prepared that out of 942 species of Indian birds, yes my dear student, in our country India there are 942 species of bird. Can you imagine how rich, how much rich wildlife have India? Okay, can you see there are 942 species of Indian birds? Okay, so the report prepared by this institute, out of 942 species of Indian birds, 217 species are considered as their population are increasing with the every year, okay, with passing every year. Also, 204 bird species have shown decline in the past 3 decades. If out of 942, 200 species of birds increased their population, then on the other hand, 204 bird species population declined. Okay, so all these reports are prepared by those institute. Out of total 942, 178 species have been classified as high conservation priority, which includes, now see, out of this 942, 178 species of birds are considered as that we need to protect them as soon as possible. Okay, now what kind of birds, what kind of species of bird fall under this category? They include northern shoveler, northern pintail, common teal, tufted duck, greater flamingo, Sarus crane, Indian courser, and Andaman serpent eagle. These all category of birds need a special kind of conservation. If we are not going to conserve them, then we are going to lose them for forever. They will become extinct. It further pointed out that out of 178 high conservation priority list, 94 were classified in this category based on both abundance trend and range. 45 based on range being very restricted. Now see, out of this 178 species which we need to protect them as soon as possible, further divisions are also made among this 178 species of birds. Out of this 178 species, 94 are classified, okay, 94 are classified that we have to make their trend and ranges in abundance form. 45 are based on range being very restricted, means 45 bird category came under the very restricted category, and an additional 39 based on a combination of their range and IUCN red list status. Okay, so there is a red list status issued by IUCN. Okay, so 39 group of birds falls under this category. Also 14 species including Indian roller recommended for IUCN red list reassessment. My dear student, you don't need to be confused. See, out of this 942 species of birds which found in our country India, 178 are considered as endangered. Okay, and out of this 178, many categories are formed, okay, on the basis of their need of conservation. Okay, 14 species comes under 14 species comes under red list reassessment. It means 14 species of bird need our immediate care. Okay, now the abundance trend refer to change over 30 years, while the current annual trend refers to change in over the past 7 years. Okay, now the list are changing because there are so many changes are coming in the population of this birds. Some are increasing, some are decreasing. Okay, so all these reports are based on a newspaper report. 15 years after polar bears were listed as threatened, a new study says researchers have overcome a roadblock in the Endangered Species Act that prevented the federal government from considering climate change when evaluating impact of projects such as oil and gas drilling. 15 years ago, polar bears are considered as endangered species. Okay, if we are not going to conserve them, they are going to become extinct animal. Okay, due to this report, due to the publication of this report, government has controlled the activities like oil oil and gas drilling. Okay, so by limiting oil and gas drilling, now we are able to protect this category polar bear category of bears. The act requires agencies to ensure projects they approve don't further harm listed species. Okay, so for this, my dear student, for the conservation of polar bear, government made acts of their respected countries. Okay, so according to this act, countries have to make sure that due to their oil drilling and gas drilling, these species or this species don't feel any kind of danger. But a 2008 Department of Interior legal opinion said greenhouse gas emissions didn't have to be considered because the impact from a specific project couldn't be distinguished from that of all historic global emissions. But a report is published by Department of Interior legal opinion in 2008 that greenhouse gas emission of greenhouse gas are constantly increasing the temperature of our climate. Okay, our earth continuously increasing the temperature of our climate. Okay, due to this continuous increase in temperature of our earth, polar bears are also facing their life threats. A study published Thursday in Science Policy Forum says scientists for the first time are able to directly quantify the impact of human caused greenhouse gas emissions from a specific source on polar bear cub survival. So a story is published in Science Policy Forum. It says that scientists for the first time in their entire research history, they found that now they can easily identify the reasons behind the greenhouse emission. Okay, human reasons behind the greenhouse emission. It just seems odd that polar bear were listed because of the loss of sea ice due to global warming, but emission have not been considered, said legal author Stephen C. Amstrup, chief scientist emeritus at Polar Bear International and a professor at the University of Wyoming. Now see, according to Stephen C. Amstrup, he is saying that we considered that due to oil and gas drilling, polar bears are facing their life threats. Okay, but okay, yes, it is absolutely right because due to this, what happened? Ice are melting. Okay, due to this, ice are melting. Okay, okay. Now, what happened? Due to gas and oil drilling, what happened? Polar bear are facing their life threats. But what about greenhouse gas? The reason of extinction, the reason of death of polar bear is also due to greenhouse gas. Why we are neglecting greenhouse gas? Okay, so according to the report which is published in 2008, and in the words of Stephen C. Armstrong, he is saying that polar bear are facing life threat for two reasons. First reason is oil and gas drilling due to this. Okay, now the second reason is due to the continuous increasing of greenhouse gas. Okay, greenhouse gas emission means releasing of greenhouse gas. Okay, so this releasing of greenhouse gas, it leads to the temperature, it leads to the rise in earth temperature, which makes our earth warm. Okay, and due to this, our ice sheets are continuously melting, and due to the continuous melting of the ice sheet, polar bear are losing their home. Okay, polar bear are losing their home, and they are also dying. Polar bears, which occur in 19 subpopulations throughout the Arctic, rely on sea ice to hunt for seals. Polar bear, who is found in 19 sub countries, okay, specifically in Arctic region. Okay, specifically in Arctic region, they totally depend on ice. Okay, they totally depend on sea ice because their major food, okay, the major food eaten by polar bears are seals, and these seals are present in ice, in sea ice. As ice melts, they either end up on land or must swim further from shore to find ice, which hunt their ability to find food and leads to longer period of fasting than deplete fat reserves. Now see, when due to the continuous rising of global warming, when due to the continuous emission of greenhouse gas, our temperature of earth is constantly rising, due to which these ice sheets are melting. Okay, and due to the melting of this ice sheet, polar bears are forced to leave their place in search of food. Okay, sometimes they came in human populated areas, okay, and sometimes they have to fast for a longer duration of time, okay, and which leads to their death. Human caused global warming means there are fewer days of sea ice to help build up those reserves and longer fasting periods. And scientists have said most polar bears could become extinct by the end of the century unless warning is curbed. Okay, global warming. Why global warming is rising day by day? We humans are reason behind it. Okay, we humans are reason behind it, and due to human activities, polar bears are constantly declining in population. If we are not going to preserve this endangered polar bear species, then maybe in the end of the 21st century we are going to lose polar bear permanently. Okay, once an endangered species now going to be extinct in the end of this 21st century if we are not going to take care of this species. A 2020 study found the number of fasting days determined by the number of ice-free days every summer directly affected directly affected cub survival. The new study authors said took that a step further, quantified the number of ice-free fasting days caused by a specific amount of human-caused greenhouse emission, distinct from what already in the atmosphere. Okay, now see, a study was made in 2020 based on polar bear, that and they studied that how many days, for how many days polar bears are fasting, because polar bear eat majorly seal. Okay, and seal used to live in sea ice. Okay, due to this continuous greenhouse emission, continuous rising in global warming, these ice are continuously melting. Okay, and due to which polar bears are forced to leave their place, they are forced to enter in human territory, they are forced, okay, they are forced to fast for longer duration of time. Okay, what really relevant for the policy is emission rather than the atmospheric concentration, said co-author Cecilia M. Blitz, a climatologist and director of the climate change program at the University of Washington. Okay, now Cecilia M. Blitz, she is a very famous climatologist. Now, what is the meaning of climatologist? A group of scientists or a group of geologists or a group of geographers who continuously study about the climate. Okay, so Cecilia M. Bliss, a climatologist, and she is also a director of climate change program at the University of Washington, USA. She is saying that what policy we are making, what policies, what rules and regulations we are making to stop this global warming. Researchers admitted the relationship between how long bear fasted and each gigaton of cumulative emissions, which they said allowed them to calculate the impact of emissions from a specific project on future polar bear cub survival. Okay, now my dear students, researchers, scientists trying to save polar bears. Okay, because they are doing a study on polar bear cubs, because our climate is continuously changing. Okay, due to which our habitat are also changing. Okay, polar bear used to live in ice area, ice cold areas, but now what happen if due to this global warming all ice are melt, then how these species are going to survive? They are studying on this by using polar bear cubs, because cubs are the child of polar bears. Okay, it's basically connecting the dot from emission to ice-free days to impact on polar bears. Says Armstrong. So in the words of Armstrong, we are basically connecting the dots from the emission, from the global from the greenhouse gases emissions to the ice-free days. Okay, means what will happen? We are connecting the dots. What will happen when this global warming continuously rising and the world is free from ice? How we are going to survive? Okay, so they are connecting the dots to find the solution of this huge problem. who believes the method can be applied to many other species such as sea turtles or coral reefs. Okay, so Armstrong believes that if we are searching a solution, okay, if we are searching a solution for polar bear cubs, how they are going to survive, okay, how they are going to survive in near future, then we can also apply this survival method on other endangered species like sea turtles and coral reefs, because they are also facing life threats due to continuous rising of greenhouse gases. He also believes the study makes a case for rescinding the 2008 opinion bearing climate condition, because the Endangered Species Act requires federal agencies to use the best available scientific data. Okay, Armstrong also believed that we have to react, okay, that we have to react immediately on the 2008 opinion. Okay, on we have to immediately react upon the 2000 based opinion, because in this opinion all the measures are considered who are leading to the climate change. Okay, and because the Endangered Species Act requires, okay, and in the words of Armstrong, the act which is made for endangered species named as Endangered Species Act, okay, they also need immediate attention of all the federal agencies. Okay, they need this act, Endangered Species Act, need immediate attention from all the federal agencies to need. Okay, and why this act need the immediate attention of this federal agencies? Because to save this endangered animals. Okay, if these agencies are not going to pay immediate attention to this Endangered Species Act, it means what? We are going to lose some of the endangered species permanently. Okay, this report is published in a newspaper article. Okay, so in this way, my dear student, we have completed this chapter. In this chapter, my dear student, we have seen that how many species due to human beings are facing such a life threatening things. Okay, pollution, I'm talking about pollution, but what is the pollution? Pollution is nothing. Pollution is a man-made thing. Okay, pollution is a man-made thing. Due to continuous pollution, our greenhouse gases are emitting day by day. Global warming is rising day by day, due to which the climate of our earth is constantly increasing. You can see, my dear student, large number of tsunamis are hitting, large number of earthquakes are coming, large number of natural disasters are coming. Why? Due to continuous human activities. And you know what, it is a shocking fact that our earth, even our earth is continuously moving. Okay, our earth is continuously moving, okay, due to human activities, which is a very dangerous symbol for humankind. We need to prevent our planet earth. It is a very beautiful planet and only planet in the whole universe where life is possible, but we with our own hands destroying our planet earth. Why we are destroying our planet earth? Just because we need luxury things. Okay, we have to stop using materialistic things. We have to depend upon nature more and more. Okay, okay, my dear student, now come with me and let's see the new word meanings which we have seen in this chapter. Now, what is the meaning of emission? Okay, greenhouse gas emission. Now, it means the release or discharge of substances, especially gases or pollutants, into the atmosphere. Whenever many gases are released in the atmosphere, they are called as emission. Conservation, the act of preserving, protecting, or managing natural resources. Conservation means protection. Endemic, native or restrictive to a particular geographic area or region and not naturally found elsewhere. Endemic means anything which is present in a specific area due to its geographical area. Granivorous means animals that primarily fed on seeds such as grain eating birds. Granivorous means the category of organism who specifically depend upon grains. Habitat, the natural environment or surrounding in which a particular species or organism live. Habitat means an area where particular species or particular organism used to live. Carnivorous, animals that primarily eat other animals' flesh or meat as their main food source. Okay, carnivorous are flesh-eating animals. Okay, my dear student, in this way we have. Okay, now, so sorry for this. Other word meanings are also here. Omnivorous means animals that consume both plant-based and animal-based foods as part of their diet. Omnivorous means they eat plant or as well as the flesh of other animals. Raptors, birds of prey characterized by sharp beaks and talons that hunt and feed on other animals. Raptors means birds having a sharp beak. Irreversible, unable to be undone, reversed or changed back to its original state. Mitigate, to lessen the severity, impact or effect of others. Irreversible means you can't change it. Deplete, to reduce the quantity or availability of a resource. Deplete means you are going to reduce. the quality and quantity both. Stewardship, the responsible and ethical management and care of resources, particularly the environment. Okay, steward means the management who are responsible for protecting the environment. Biodiversity, the variety and variability of life forms on earth. Biodiversity means there are a lot of variety of life forms are present on our planet earth. Atmospheric, atmospheric concentration, the amount or level of a specific substance such as a greenhouse gases present in the earth atmosphere. Atmospheric concentration means there are a lot of gases are present in our planet earth at a specific amount of time. They are called as atmospheric concentration. Sustainable, action, behavior or method that are environmentally sustainable. Practices, actions, behavior or methods that are environmentally responsible and capable of being continued over the long term without causing harm on natural ecosystem. Sustainable means your behavior, your action through which you are not harming your earth. Okay, so in this way, my dear student, we have completed our chapter number 11. Now what you have to do, my dear student, just go thoroughly through this chapter, read this chapter, try to understand this chapter and complete all the exercise based on this chapter. Now I'm taking leave and going to meet with you all in our next class with a new chapter or a new poem. Till then, my dear students, you have to take very good care of yourself. Bye.